What's up guys, welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
3. Do not harm or bring misfortune upon those weaker than you. These 3 principles should be sufficient. Betraying one's comrades would result in a sentence of death. Forgiving others' mistakes posed a challenge, considering that REG was positioning itself as a last resort for those who had fallen on hard times. We couldn't expect to attract the best talent, in other words. Therefore, I urged our staff on the ground to compensate for any errors. Real change wouldn't occur unless the higher-ups implemented systematic reforms, and I wanted to establish this principle while all the top managers were present. Rule number 3 held the utmost significance. Although REG aimed to unite various powerful factions in organized crime, constantly undermining each other would prevent us from competing effectively against legitimate businesses. Some individuals might have profited from such behavior in the past, but going forward, it was strictly prohibited. I wanted everyone to understand that our influence had significantly expanded, necessitating fair contributions to society. We were not an unruly mob. We were an honorable group that aided the weak and subdued the powerful. This was my desire, as well as Sir Rimmeru's. Of course, given our clandestine nature, we couldn't entirely whitewash our involvement, but I didn't want us to abandon our integrity. If corruption permeated the upper management, those at the bottom had no means of opposing it. This applied to me as well, and I wanted to ensure that I didn't forget it.
To be clear, I understand that changing ingrained habits takes time, but these are the rules REG expects you to abide by. Let's give our younger members the opportunity to learn. They need to realize that there are alternative paths to survival.
The leaders contemplated these words meekly. They were accustomed to engaging in various illicit activities, making it challenging for them to shift their thinking so swiftly. However, with the appropriate use of my, or rather, Sir Rimmeru's, authority, I believed it was not an impossible task. Perhaps this could be perceived as silencing opposition through power, but considering that I was dealing with individuals who revered power above all else, I deemed it the right course of action. Hopefully, it would foster change in others as well. Meanwhile, the Gabbana family was to be disbanded, with its members reassigned to other organizations. Gabbana would serve as my personal advisor, working at our Bloomend headquarters under a new identity. Given his proficiency in financial matters and other talents, it would be a waste to let him remain idle. I made the decision to assign him the oversight of our Magic Train project, which had been a persistent and bothersome challenge. In all honesty, it's Sir Rimmeru's fault. He comes up with these extravagant ideas and then urges me to bring them to life. Don't get me wrong, it's part of my job, and I can't deny that the project is intriguing. However, he needs to remember that I'm just an ordinary human with only 2 hands. Unlike him, I need to sleep at night. It's difficult to turn him down when he says,
"It's all yours, Molly."
But when I cancel a project due to budget constraints, it's often for the sake of my own well-being. Of course, with so much money involved, that excuse won't hold up for long, which is why recruiting Gabbana turned out to be a stroke of luck for me. By the way, Gabbana would complain to me daily.
Damn it!
He'd grumble.
I'm grateful for this opportunity, but look at all the work you've let pile up here. I had no idea it would be such a trial.
The work he referred to was all the tasks Sir Rimmeru had irrationally demanded from me. I really wished Gabbana would complain to Sir Rimmeru instead of me, although I did feel a bit guilty. To alleviate that guilt, I made sure Gabbana was generously compensated for his efforts. As for Arlicio, I entrusted him to Gobemon's care. The ogre mage himself had requested this, as he wanted to settle matters with Arlicio after the incident involving Bid, so we arranged a fight that Arlicio couldn't refuse, although I dangled the opportunity for upper management in front of him to sweeten the deal. As expected, Gobemon emerged victorious.
Do you understand now? There will always be someone stronger than you. Even I am considered only above average in my homeland. Strength is not something to flaunt. It resides within your heart. It must be used for noble causes, to protect the things you should never give up. That is what I was taught, and it's not too late for you either. Take this moment to reflect on yourself.
I'd like to believe that speech, along with the defeat he suffered, opened Arlecchio's eyes a little, and I was proven right when he soon volunteered to serve alongside Gobemon. So the 2 men who had tried to pick a fight with me had a rather quiet ending. However, we presented a different narrative to the general public. We needed to leverage REG to give the 4 Nations Trade Alliance a grand debut, but we also had to find a compromise that wouldn't damage REG's reputation in the process. So, to begin with, we decided to demolish the mansion we had purchased as the Anglacia branch of the FNTA. We made sure to evacuate all the staff beforehand, but the aftermath created a lot of buzz among the general public. Additionally, the journalists introduced to me by Diablo wrote fantastic articles that portrayed REG as a formidable and foreboding entity, while highlighting my resilience against intimidation. After all, why should I bow down to mob activity when I hold the position of finance minister in Tempest? The disintegration of the Gabbana family also garnered significant media attention, and with all the coverage combined, we successfully conveyed the message that the FNTA was much larger than people had initially thought. Furthermore, we spread rumors that REG and the FNTA had agreed to a truce in order to rest and regroup their forces. This theory became widely accepted by the public, effectively putting an end to the situation. That's how we managed to establish the FNTA smoothly. However, when I saw the earnings reports from our branches, even I was astonished. Between you and me, these branches were generating the equivalent of several dozen gold coins per hour, surpassing my annual salary as a minister in Tempest in just a single day. In the eyes of the public, I was earning more in an hour than most of them could hope to make in a whole year. By the way, we also provided Benimaru and Soe with compensation for their services in assisting REG, around 50 gold coins per month, I believe. However, Soe's agents who worked directly for REG earned considerably more, and all their necessary expenses were covered as well. The same applied to Glenda and Gerard, the individuals posing as bosses. It was essential for a boss to maintain a lavish lifestyle to avoid arousing suspicions among their associates. Lastly, we received compensation from our respective governments. Essentially, Big Mama, Sir Rimuru, and I were each entitled to 2% of the profits, paid on an annual basis. Even now, my account was growing at an astonishing rate. I consider myself fortunate, but this level of luck feels almost unreal to me. Yet, my aspirations don't end here. I have grand dreams, you see. I refuse to be content with these small triumphs. My name is Gard Muirmiles, the man whose destiny changed after meeting Sir Rimuru. I intend to push myself to the limits, striving to climb as high as I can throughout my life so that I have no regrets in the end. Until death finally comes for me, I will never cease my efforts.
Volume 17 Chapter 2. Distant Memories. Part 1.
Velgrynd initially stepped into a distant spatial rift, unsure of its exact location. Unrestricted by the constraints of time, she confronted herself, seizing the opportunity to fully master her ultimate skill. Divine Flame King Cthugha. Cthugha possessed the remarkable capability to trace Rudra's soul, pinpointing the location of any specified object. Utilizing this power, Velgrynd could identify the fragments of Rudra's soul, transcending both time and space. To reach these soul fragments, Velgrynd relied on spacetime leap, an extraordinary combination of spacetime manipulation and trans-spacetime leap unique to her ultimate skill. Despite its inability to calculate precise destination coordinates, it facilitated instantaneous travel within the same timeline, essentially enabling teleportation. Guided by spacetime leap, Velgrynd embarked on her pursuit of Rudra. Her journey led her to a nascent civilization on a planet, where a young, blonde-haired leader harbored a portion of Rudra's soul within him. Taking swift action, Velgrynd aided the tribe, manipulating weather and taming rivers to foster prosperity. The once nomadic group transformed into an established town, instilling awe in neighboring villages as it flourished through improved agricultural practices and increased population. It was unavoidable that those bestowed with Velgrynd's favor would eventually confront external threats. In anticipation, Velgrynd devised her next move. She provided them with a robust furnace, capable of melting metal, a highly unconventional piece of technology in this world. The young man and his tribe swiftly transitioned from stone tools to bronze ware, now equipped with tools and weapons of iron. Absorbing neighboring villages, the tribe expanded until it established itself as a kingdom. The throne passed through generations, from the king to his son and then his grandson. At this juncture, Velgrynd refrained from directly aiding the kingdom. Instead, she chose to recline and be close to the person she loved deeply. No matter how often she was asked, she never employed her skills for the sake of the kingdom because that was what her beloved desired.
If I were in your position, I'd ensure they owe me more than they could ever repay. But no, I don't need more than this. If I were to step down from the throne, it would be an excessive amount of power for those fools to manage.
Yes. I comprehend completely, Rudra.
The king's sons and grandsons lacked soul fragments within them, giving Velgrynd no reason to assist them. She could have done it impulsively, but the king wished for his descendants not to be reliant on anyone else, and Velgrynd intended to honor that.
My name's Rudra again, huh? Great. As long as your heart belongs to someone else. Well, no wonder you keep me at arm's length.
He. Jealous? That's adorable.
Ah, I have this exceptional woman in front of me too. It's like being trapped in eternal limbo.
Just as he mentioned, the man, once a tribal chief, now the first king of Archa, a pioneer in riverside civilization, never engaged in a romantic relationship with Velgrynd. Despite treating her as a goddess, Velgrynd was content with that. She believed her role was to oversee events. All she had to do was wait for lovers to have children, pass down their bloodlines, and for one of them to possess a piece of Rudra's soul. That was how she shaped her existence. An era of development transitioned into an era of prosperity. Joyful moments elapsed all too swiftly. The young man aged, lost his faculties, and soon the day arrived when he was merely awaiting death.
I've led a content life, my goddess. You referred to me as your husband, but have I fulfilled the role adequately?
Yes, you have. I was content.
Ah, it brings me solace to hear that. May blessings be upon you for eternity.
Those marked the final words of the esteemed king, and then his voice fell silent, surrendering his soul to Velgrynd. The soul fragment she acquired, however, was minuscule, a mere fragment. The journey had just commenced, prompting Velgrynd to take her next leap. The kingdom continued its expansion, engulfing neighboring nations and evolving into an empire. Those who remained chronicled historical accounts for future generations, giving rise to mythology. In the realms of the sacred Arcean Empire, governed by descendants of the young man's lineage, Velgrynd, the fire-wielding creator goddess, received worship for countless years. Velgrynd underwent a cycle of meetings and partings, realizing that Veldanava had created more than one world. Many, in fact. A single world existed in isolation. There were no parallel worlds, but there were designated otherworlds, residing in alternate dimensions. Velgrynd was aware of this thanks to encounters with otherworlders, but she hadn't fathomed the multitude and diversity of these other worlds. They operated on entirely different laws or were free from the constraints of karma. Indeed, within vast spiritual realms, civilizations could intermingle in physical worlds. Some appeared familiar, with magic and sword fighting, while others lacked magicules and were impervious to all spell types. Civilizations could be driven by a concept called science, and in some rarer realms, humans transformed into machines. Some worlds were compact enough that a fully unleashed true dragon could obliterate them, while others were desolate lands incessantly contested by angels and demons with the abilities of awakened demon lords.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Stone Larone, Ray Perez, Donald Williams, Moab A, Day of Light, Zephyrath, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Foolish Prophets, Lamar. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.